I'm curious, since you and I have always been very candid with each other, we have real talk on this program, and I really enjoy that because a lot of people don't like to talk about race, especially when you're different than each other, right? It's a hard thing for people to talk about these days on Twitter, but you and I always have productive discussions. So I was curious, I wanted to ask you a question that I'll just cut to the chase. You got rejected a lot. You talk about it in your new book, It's About Damn Time, which I have just started listening to. And it's great, by the way. Really,
thank you.
You do a great job. Also, I don't know if you stopped talking. Do you read the whole thing?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, because I'm only like 2 or 3 chapters in, and some people.
No, it's all me. It's all me.
Some people read the first 2 chapters and stop. And you go through in the book, exactly how hard it was for you to break in, but all your different techniques for breaking in. But let's face it, like not everybody wanted you in here. Not everybody gave you the support. And now we see all these protests, and Twitter is a virtue signaling like machine with all these white VCs, underestimated founders. And I'm curious if your phone is ringing off the hook now where people are like, you know what, I should have backed you before and I kind of fucked that up and now I need to back you now. So during these protests, you get all this white guilt and people saying, I got to make up for this. And they call you as the route to get to this deal flow?
Yeah, it's happening. The last few weeks have been very, very interesting. I've been watching it unfold when it comes to people reaching out. A lot of scrambling going on. There's a lot of scrambling.
That was the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going on. There's also a lot of sincerity, in my opinion, going on where some people who have been in the past wanting to work with us, but didn't have the power within their organizations to do so they have more leverage internally now to say, look, we have a problem. I know where to go. And that reaching out. So it's a lot of that inbound and sussing out what is, worth our time, what is valuable, what is worth the founder's time and what is not. Because I just don't play the game of like holding out the buckets and just taking any money that will fall. That is just not interesting to me. The autonomy, I think you talking about how we have a lot in common. And I like to talk more about that too, if you don't mind too.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. But that autonomy is really important and that integrity is really important to me and to our team. And so we are highly protective of our company, the companies that we've invested in that have allowed us to invest in them. And we're highly protective of our own, brand and integrity and reputation, most importantly. And so, yeah, it's coming out of the woodworks. People are just all of a sudden so woke. And so, I knew it all the time and I felt this all the way. But every once in a while, you'd get something sincere that is worth taking a look at.
And even on a cynical approach where it's like, oh my God, it's so hard for people to say all Black Lives Matter. Right. And when I first heard the term Black Lives Matter, I was like, well, everybody's life matters. Right. Like that was my initial reaction too. And then because it's like I think a very interesting test to at what point you realize that when people say Black Lives Matters, they're not saying they matter more than other lives, but that they have not mattered, and all we're asking for is to catch up and make them matter as much as anybody else's. I will freely admit, I had the same reaction, but to hold on to that reaction now, after you get through the mental exercise of saying, what is the person's point in saying Black Lives Matter? Oh, their point is not to exclude everybody else. It's to let you know that they're just trying to reach up to have it for parity, right?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
And people are getting there. And I think you could be cynical. One could be cynical, and I would understand you, especially being cynical about it, having, knocked on doors and gotten turned away. But in another way, hey, late to the party, fine, but you're here. At least we have to, get you on board so that maybe you will have a Black partner in your, partnership, or you will syndicate a founder from a Black deal, who's a Black founder, a person of color, an underestimated founder.
Yeah, I'm not here to be anybody's savior, to kind of make them feel like they've caught up. I'm definitely someone who you start with 100 with me. You have to lose points. You don't start at less than 100. You know what I mean? Like you have to, so I'm a fair person, and I'm a person who feels like, I feel like what are we fighting for if not for us all getting it and working together? At the same time, as Rihanna says, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. There is a difference between someone getting it and then really getting it and then saying, oh, I've not got it before, but now I want to be part of this. And I'm going to go back to the people I know are working on it and talk to them. How do I help? And someone who is like, oh, I don't want to look bad, or I don't want to lose these other resources that are dependent on me being in this field. So I'm gonna claw my way. Or, there's the group that's just doing these crumbs, these little, it doesn't take anything for them to it falls out of their pockets as they're standing out of their car. To me, that's insulting. And it's not that I will never get to you. I agree with you and I like you and I think you're doing a good job, but it's just that a lot of them are not there yet. And that's okay to say too.